The shortages are coming. Do you remember in early 2020 when they told us that the shortages that we're experiencing would just be temporary? Of course, some of them were, but then more shortages just kept on erupting. That was not supposed to happen, and now it appears that our supply chain problems could potentially get a whole lot worse. In just a few short months, we will be 3 years away from the beginning of the pandemic in the United States, but instead of a return to normal, more shortages are on the way, and in some cases, they could even be life threatening. Let me give you an example. We need amoxicillin to treat some of the most common infections that our children experience. Unfortunately, the FDA is warning us that we are now facing a very serious shortage of amoxicillin. Ear infections, strep throat, both are common childhood illnesses for which the go-to prescription is in short supply, according to a recent nationwide alert from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. The warning specifically involves the powder which pharmacists use to mix liquid amoxicillin for childhood infections. This is a really big deal. According to one recent survey, close to two-thirds of all pharmacies in the nation are having difficulty getting amoxicillin right now, and the national shortage of Adderall is even worse. Nearly 66% of pharmacies are having challenges obtaining amoxicillin, and according to a new National Community Pharmacists Association (NCPA) survey of 8,000 pharmacy owners and managers, whereas 89% are realizing a shortage of Adderall. Of course, we're dealing with lots of other drug shortages at this moment as well. In fact, according to the official FDA drug shortage list, there are nationwide shortages of a whopping 183 different drugs in the United States right now. We truly are in unprecedented territory. Up in Canada, things are even worse. If you can believe it, at this point the Canadians are facing an acute shortage of basic painkillers. The Canadian healthcare system is experiencing an acute shortage of basic painkillers, particularly acetaminophen and ibuprofen, which are commonly used as pain relievers in fever and children during flu season. Canada's Association of Medical Assistants in Dying, Assessors and Providers, CAMAP, chose this perhaps awkward moment to roll out a webinar for healthcare professionals that advise them to offer assisted suicide to their suffering patients. So why don't the Canadians have enough acetaminophen and ibuprofen right now? Well, we're being told that the primary reason is a lack of raw ingredients to make the drug. CBS News quoted health officials who blamed a lack of raw ingredients to make the drugs, an uptick in respiratory viruses fueled by the relaxed Chinese coronavirus measures, and panic buying for the shortage of painkillers for children. As I have covered in previous articles, most of the basic ingredients that go into our pharmaceutical drugs come from China. So if you think that things are bad now, just wait until war with China erupts. Once that happens, our pharmacy will get really empty and our entire healthcare system will experience a historic meltdown. Switching gears with Thanksgiving coming up, I wanted to talk about the fact that we are now facing a nationwide shortage of turkeys. As CNBC reports, the price of turkey is up 73% from last year, a pretty astonishing figure. Experts attribute it to the bird flu, which has devastated turkey stocks this year. Apparently, the disease normally does not flourish during the summer as farmers get their holiday flocks together. But you know, the 2020s have not been easy. So naturally, the flu hit hard right in the middle of the year, when it could do the most damage. The good news, if you want to call it that, is that you still probably be able to get a turkey if you are willing to pay enough. The bad news is that supplies of turkeys just keep getting tighter and tighter. One business owner in San Francisco recently stated that it's like pulling teeth trying to get turkeys from the companies at this stage. But it's not just the Thanksgiving bird that's a risk, it's your lunchtime turkey sandwich too. San Francisco delis and butchers are always feeling the effects of the shortage. They're already feeling it. It's like pulling teeth trying to get turkeys from the companies. said Sal Kakinda, owner of Arguello Market, a San Francisco cult favorite for its world-famous turkey sandwich. Unfortunately, we're also facing a shortage of butter in the weeks ahead. The USDA is urging consumers not to panic buy butter so that there will be enough to go around for everyone. Butter is another area where the war and cost of dairy products has affected supply, as the price of the condiment and baking ingredients has gone up $1 per pound since January of this year per liter. Fearing a full-blown butter shortage, the USDA has asked consumers not to rush or panic buy, but simply secure what they need at a given time per best life. Did you ever imagine that we would be talking about a butter shortage in late 2022? Things just keep getting crazier and crazier. And if the diesel fuel shortages eventually get as bad as some are projecting, we could soon be facing severe shortages of countless products. Our ships, our trains, and our trucks run on diesel fuel. So if there's not enough diesel fuel, we're going to have a real problem trying to fill up our stores with enough stuff for everyone. But now supplies of diesel fuel are so tight that one big player in the industry just issued a major alert. A major fuel supply and logistics company is raising the red flag on upcoming diesel fuel shortages. Mansfield Energy issued the alert Friday, stating there was a developing diesel fuel shortage in the southeastern region of the United States. The company speculated that the shortage could be generated from poor pipeline shipping economies and a historically low supply of diesel reserves. Poor pipeline shipping economies and historically low diesel inventories are combining to cause shortages in various markets throughout the Southeast, the company said. These have been occurring sporadically, with areas like Tennessee seeing particularly acute challenges. There are a number of reasons why supplies of diesel fuel have gotten so tight, but the biggest is the fact that imports from Russia have been totally cut off, of course. The primary reason is the cutoff of Russian imports. Prior to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the U.S. was importing nearly 700,000 barrels per day of petroleum and petroleum products. Most of those imports were finished products and refinery inputs that boosted distillate supplies in the U.S. The loss of those Russian imports have caused problems for refineries as they struggle to fill holes in their product slates. Refineries do have a small amount of flexibility in shifting gasoline products to diesel products, but it's a relatively small amount. That's about 5% in a refinery I once worked in. That also means that if refiners do shift production, that also potentially creates shortages in the gasoline market. So why don't we just produce more ourselves? Well, thanks to our politicians, the number of refineries in the United States has actually been declining in recent years, even as our population has grown. At this point, we simply don't have enough refineries, and this is a problem that's not going away anytime soon. In the months ahead, and we're going to completely run out of diesel fuel, as some people out there are suggesting, but supplies may get so tight it could potentially create widespread supply chain nightmares that are quite severe. Let's hope that such a scenario does not materialize, because the American people are already angry enough about the economy. In fact, a brand new survey has found that this number is not one issue of U.S. voters at the moment. The Washington Post and ABC gave Americans 8 top issues that will be considered when making their decision at the poll that showed likely voters split between the Democrats and Republicans. The economy was cited by 26% of likely voters as one of the most important factors, followed by abortion with 22% and inflation and threats to democracy each by 21%. For decades, we've been able to rely on our supply chains to continuously fill our stores with mountains of cheap goods, but now our supply chains are breaking down. In fact, our entire economic system is breaking down, and most people are completely and utterly unprepared for the difficult times that are coming. I know that many of you have been patiently waiting for a long time for life to return to normal. Sadly, that's not going to happen, it appears. The incredibly bad decisions that our leaders have been making are now catching up with us in a major way, and a great deal of pain is ahead, it appears. This is by Michael Schneider. And he says, my name is Michael. My brand new book entitled End Time is now available on Amazon. In addition to my new book, I've written 6 other books that are available on Amazon, including 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, commissions earned. When you purchase any of these books, you help to support the work that I'm doing. And one way that you can really help is by sending digital copies as gifts through Amazon to family and friends. Time is short, and I need help getting these right warnings into the hands of as many people as possible. I've published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and The Most Important News. And the articles that I publish on those sites are republished on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. I always freely and happily allow others to republish my articles on their own websites, but I also ask that they include this about the author section with each article. The material contained in this article is for general information purposes only, and readers should consult licensed professionals before making any legal, business, financial, or health decisions. I encourage you to follow me on social media on Facebook and Twitter. And any way that you can share these articles with others is definitely a great help. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, I strongly urge that you invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. This is by Michael Snyder on End of the American Dream. I'll leave a link below for you. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.